Shalom. Kol halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers that's doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now more so than ever, the would-be judges, the tabernacle of David set up to be the kingdom of heaven, the government over the kingdom of heaven, which will be here on earth as it is in heaven, will be fulfilled. The laws of heaven will be enforced on earth by the 144,000. All right, that's 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, which primarily make up the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. And the scattered elect that are scattered among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. All right, for we are a scattered people. And the Lord is going to send back the angels, the chariots, to gather us up. That is what this lesson will be about today. All right, and to the few Akwath that are listening and learning, to you, I say shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And couple videos that I saw, upon rising, woke up, dog woke me up like an alarm clock to feed him, Rocky. And so, first thing I do when I open my eyes is praise the Lord. All right. And upon doing so, I open up my phone, to see what's going on in the world, what messages I've gotten, and the water for my beloved April O'Neil, on the spot reporter. I'm living a life like the turtles, withdrawn and hid from society, and my beloved reporter keeps me in tune. And the waterfall of content, definitely plenty, so much for me to go into. But upon doing that, I also came across a video with the Apostle Gabar, the elder bishop Sakaran, and elder bishop and now it's pissing me off that I can't think of the Salaki. I can't think of the elder's name. I'm seeing his face plain as day. beloved elder bishop. But they were doing a lesson, and they were talking about the scattered elect and being spiritual, and how only someone who is spiritual can see beyond the color of skin. Knowing that there are a plethora, that there are dozens of scriptures that acknowledge that we were scattered among all people. All right. And how the Lord is coming to take us out of those people. So, the common sense extrapolation would be, well, damn, then that means our people are among people that don't look like us. Duh. And these people that if the spirit's not with you, you're just not going to get that. You're going to be carnal and a fleshly man. Only the spirit can reveal that. And that's what that conversation with the lesson was about. It takes the spirit to identify Israelites. And then there's certain traits that only Israelites have. And I don't know how many times I need to say it. You cannot fake Jake. You can't fake it. All right. When you come across a heathen that has salt, that has rhythm, that has a certain attitude, a certain swag about them. The heathens have zero swag. The heathens have zero salt. Zero. They're nerdy and awkward. They don't have, even when it comes to combat sports, you can have some of the heathens as mighty men among all the nations. All right. And some of the heathen can actually get down. They're really good at combat sports. but they don't have the smoothness, the rhythm that Jacob has when Jake does it. Same things goes with singing and dancing. All right. And they were speaking about the Jabberwockies. Okay. And, you know, Elder Bishop Sakaran, you know, and, you know, old school New York B-boy, househead himself. Just like me, minus the B-boy. I was never a B-boy, but I definitely was a househead, you know. And, you know, and so that elder bro, he knows, you know, Jake when he sees it. All right. And if you don't know who the Jabberwockies are, man, man, they're incredible, man. And it will be hard to come across a Jake group that can actually, you know, I ain't seen no group today as of late years. You know, I could think back to some people in the 80s who could have gave them a run, but hey, them dudes are Jake, man. So let's without any further ado, let's just go right into the scriptures, man. This is Tobit 13:3. And it reads, confess him before the Gentiles, ye children of Israel, for he hath scattered us among them. All right. Tobit 13:5. And he will scourge us for our iniquities and will have mercy again and will gather us out of all nations whom he hath scattered us. See, I could close the book right there. Tobit 13:5 pretty much breaks down the entire Bible. The Bible is about the rise and fall of the Israelites, the rise and fall of Edom. And when Edom falls the second time, the second leg of the Roman Empire, which is America and the West, that ushers in the second kingdom of David, the house of David. That's the Bible in a nutshell. If you have to, you know, sum it up in one sentence or maybe two sentences, that would be it. And then all that is going to be established and controlled and set in place by whom the world falsely and fraudulently calls Jesus Christ, Yahushai. And they know that that's his name. They know it. And they printed that J word and other words. They know it's Yahweh. And they know it's Yahushai. And linguistically, it's so easy to prove that. And it's been done 1,000 times. But, you know, it is what it is, man. That's okay. Because if that was the case, then everyone could call on it. And, you know, and when those times are full blown, which those times are here now. All right. So let me see if I can, let me find that video with the apostles.
If you want to keep your...
Yep, here it is. The Wadi al-Bashimawashai.
Which is a part of the Bible. Tobit chapter 13, verse 3. Confess
he read what I read.
The Gentiles.
I thought they read Baruch.
Israel, for he hath scattered us among them.
There you go. There it is.
That's it.
So to illustrate that, that's like teaching. All right, our people were scattered throughout every nation on the four corners of the earth.
Right.
You're gonna see a bunch of guys that are Chinese. A man who's spiritual will understand that amongst them Chinese,
Isaiah
16:4, actually Israelites that's mingled up in
Yes.
there.
Like
those Korean breakdancers.
Oh man.
Oh, the Japanese breakdancers.
Jabberwockies. I believe they were. I believe the
that.
Jabberwockies were Koreans
Yeah,
or Vietnamese or something. Man, them dudes. They ain't no Jake. I haven't seen no Jake group that could beat them to this day.
So they're what? They have to be Israelites.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yahushua said it best. He said, "We're the salt of the earth."
Right.
Now, when it comes to dancing, those people got salt.
They got. Yep.
Yes,
They do.
So that shows you right there. That's a clue that these people got to be of the nation of Israel. They got to be Israelites.
Yeah, because the heathens don't have no salt. None. Zero.
A carnal way of thinking is that if an Israelite man, first of all, you call yourself an Israelite, you can't see that, dude. You're in the wrong profession. Yeah, should be go out there and go to church or something. All right, you gotta be spiritual to see these things. You gotta be spiritual. You got, for real. I'm so glad you said that. What did the Apostle Paul said? He said, "The spiritual man judgeth all things." That's right. See, in this knowledge is truth. You have to have a spiritual mind, or at least develop a spiritual mind.
Yeah.
You can't think as soon as you see something.
Right.
You judge it on the outward appearance. You got to go into the inside. You got to go into the spirit.
Yeah.
Remember what the Heavenly Father said to Samuel. Samuel the prophet, he said, "The Lord don't see on the outward appearance. He looks at the heart, meaning the spirit."
Right.
Okay?
So we're learning to be spiritual men here and judge things spiritually.
That's right.
Okay?
But you can't, if I may say this, apostle and bishop, you can't do it, obviously, unless you're chosen.
That's right.
Like we always say. Like we always say, you know? And people get mad. It's a gift, man.
It's a gift.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, look, you got to, sometimes you try, shit, sometimes you may not feel like the chosen, and you may be. But you gotta put in the effort, too. You know what I'm saying? Because Jake is, you know.
Yeah, to be spiritual, here it is right here. 1 Corinthians 12. 1 Corinthians 12 and 7. No, let me start at the 4th verse. Again, these are the words of Apostle Paul to the Israelites in Corinth. It says, now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. Who's that Spirit? Yahweh Shem Shai, right? And there are differences of administrations, right? Within the ministry, right?
Yes.
But the same Lord. His name is Yahweh Shai, right? And there are diversities of operations. But it is the same power which worketh all in all.
Right.
Now he's going to break down the
Man,
gifts.
because there it is, man. You know, they're, you know, because all brothers have different gifts and different, like some brothers are really good at the tinctures. Some brothers are really good at speaking the Hebrew and the Greek and breaking it down better than others. You know, some brothers are you know, the precept masters. They can, it's like they have a photographic memory and the understanding when the Lord is with you. All right, because we've seen guys who had that memory but didn't really have the understanding. All right, and then you got brothers who are really good at history. And you got brothers that are really good at research. You know, and research is there's a skill to that as well. All right. Then you got brothers that are really good at extrapolating information out of books that other brothers have read many a times. And then another brother can go into it and pull all kind of information out of that book that everyone else missed, still edifying to the body. Okay, so there are many gifts of operation, man. All serving the one purpose, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay? So I'm just going to go right into the scriptures now. Let's and here's an article. Well, actually, I'm going to read that article after I read a couple more scriptures. Let me go to the book of Esther. This is Esther 3 and 8, and it reads, and Aman, that, you know, and he's back amongst us as well, said unto Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of the kingdom. And their laws are diverse from the people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. And this was in Asia, all throughout Asia, North Africa. All right. And Europe is a part of Asia. All right. You know, they started calling it Europe, trying to, you know, creating that false narrative of that's where so-called white people came. No, so-called white people came from Southern Asia, you know, the Levant, south of Israel, in the land of Jordan. That was their first mountain homes, Mount Seir. All right. And according to Esau's information, Mount Seir was also called Selah. All right. That's where they were from. All right, when they were in the Caucasus Mountains, that's because the Israelites forced them into the Caucasus Mountains after the fall of Rome. So that's not where they came from. That's where they came from the second time around. The first mountainous homes, caves they came from was a place that they call Petra today. All right. You can go back a few lessons. I think on the critical race historical facts, critical race historical, critical race history, historical facts channel. Yeah, I got two of them. I forget which one I use. The one I use the most. Right, the other one's just kind of a backup because I know eventually they're gonna, you know, do what they do. All right, and I've gone into those lessons lots of times, breaking it down historically with their own information to, you know, lining it up with scriptures to prove what the truth is. Okay. And the end game is that after this punishment, let's go to Joel 3 and 2. Joel 3 and 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's where we are now. All right. And I will plead with them for my people, for my heritage, Israel, because there's a controversy. You got a fraudulent people that are ruling over the entire world, claiming to be the people of the Lord. Well, the people of the Lord would have no power, no military, no assistance. And they would be on the bottom in every society that they're in. And then, all you got to do, well, there's your Israelites. We're definitely on the bottom in every society that we're in, collectively as a people. Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So we've been scattered, and our land have been parted between two heathen nations as we go into this third world war. Line it right up with scriptures. That has happened. Okay? And then what's going to happen? Then the Lord, now, and then our chariots are popping up left and right. Let me go to this article that my on-the-spot reporter sent me. And here it says, this is from Newsbreak. And it reads, a Missouri woman thought she saw a star, then it started moving. You know how many times this has happened among the men of Great Mill? So how many times it's happened in Chicago? Too many for me to even recall now. All right. And I remember learning about the chariots and then seeing my first one. All right. In the broad daylight, man. That was way back when Batak was the head of the camp here in Chicago, man. Batak was the head. Michael Allah was his second. And that chariot, and even after camp, we went to go get food after camp. And it's still, I couldn't stop looking at it. It was like it followed us. It was letting us know. All right. I've even had things in the sky, we see it, and then we pray out loud and then ask it to show us a sign that you are what you are. And then it would start changing colors, turning off and turning on. I've never seen that with the other camps. They barely even teach about the chariots. Especially you watching IUIC or ISUPK. UPK, all you're going to hear is the black man this, the white man that. All of a sudden it's this white and black. They're not breaking anything down, man. All right, that those are both fraudulent social constructs. All right. But it says when is a star not really a star? Answer. When it is a stationary bright light in the sky that suddenly starts moving, which is what Missouri woman claims she just witnessed. National UFO Reporting Center. And see, now the authorities have admitted, but we know that they're not UFOs. They won't admit the truth about it, just like they won't admit that we are the Israelites until they're forced to. Well, not the authorities anyway. Many, so-called biblical people, Bible believers, they know and they admit it. But the general census with the authorities, they're going to deny until they're put in a position where they can't deny anymore. All right. When you see Jake out there and flying and making cars levitate and buses and stuff and things that, right? When that happens, okay, when the camera's alive and you see the chariots come pick up, it all of a sudden is only picking up Negroes and Latinos. All right. And of course, we got the scattered too that look like the heathen, but you know what I'm saying. All right. The National UFO Reporting Center says this odd encounter over Missouri happened on October 9, 2025. So that means the authorities was tracking it when she spoke about it. According to the eyewitness testimony on the Norfolk site, a woman near Caldwell, Missouri saw what she thought was a star in the sky at night on October 9, 2025. But then it started moving. There is a snippet of her exact words, what she witnessed. And I see them all the time. We see them all the time. I see them huge, shifting and moving around the moon. And I already know if I see them, they see them too. You best believe that with their military telescopes and their, and their space stations telescopes, they see them too. All right. It says, though it thought it was a star until it moved, I kept going up It kept going up from the horizon to the same spot, no flashing lights, made weird turns. So my boyfriend and I were out riding gravel roads. We saw what we thought was a star on the horizon, but it got brighter. After maybe 30 or so minutes, two more came into view, both crossing its path. One went up and stayed under the first object. The second went up, but then made a sharp turn. I've seen them do things like that. I've seen 3 or 4 of them all go into one and then separate again. Change shapes, change colors. All right. That is our salvation. All right. And when matter of fact, let's get the scriptures of how, and that's what I told you. This is what the Bible is all about. The Bible is about, the salvation of the Israelites in the last days. And the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven, which will be here on earth, which they will rule over. All the other 17 nations. Genesis, the 10th chapter, the Lord created 18 nations, and they're all still here. All right. The nation of Edom, which have hid itself by calling itself different names. They became the Greeks. They became the Romans. Those were melanated people, not pale people. Then they became Europeans. Then they spoke of their history and called themselves Caucasians. Then fast forward to 1681, they began to call themselves white people. Those collectively, outside of those among them that happen to be our people because of the slavery and the scattering, because many of our people are going to come looking like them. Our people are scattered. But the body of them that makes up your Edomites. And the Bible tells you that Edom would take the Holy Land. Ezekiel, the 36th chapter. They're claiming to be us. And they have power over the whole earth, the whole circuit compass of the earth. And that time is now. And they're losing that power. And they're about to go to war with one another, both in the West and abroad. This is the end of their kingdom. A house divided cannot stand. When the northern kingdom separated from the southern kingdom, we fell. And that's exactly what's happening to Esau, Edom. Back to the scriptures. Let's go to Psalms 104. And read verses 1 through 5. Bless Yahweh, O my soul, O Yahweh, my power. Thou art very great, thou art clothed with honor and majesty. Who coverest thyself with light as with a garment, just like that chariot covered itself with light. And then the light changes color, gets bright, gets small, it changes colors. Who stretches out the heavens like a curtain? Even NASA scientists have admitted that it looks like the heavens all is still growing. The Lord just stretches it out. He gave them an impossible task in Jeremiah. If they can measure the heavens and measure the sea, we're looking at the power of the sea now. They can't even go. They can only go so deep. They can't measure the sea. They can't. All right. Because this image is it's called Riley's Wave. This is near islands, near in Ireland. Okay. Who laid the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. All right. Who walks upon the wings of the wind? The chariots. They call them UFOs and UAPs. Knowing what they are. Esau Edom always tries to fraudulently and falsely control the narrative and give a pseudoscience, 1 Timothy 6:20, answer for anything that, that they can't really explain or understand. Who maketh the angels spirits his ministers of flame and fire. Sometimes those things, they look like fire. Amber. All right. What's that song? Now I can't think of the damn song. It's like a heavy metal song talking about aerial chariots in the sky. Damn. Oh well, doesn't matter. And what are they coming to do? They're coming to do two things, man. Let's go to Ezekiel 11:6. They're coming to deliver the Israelites and destroy and help destroy the powers of the armies here on earth. And gather up the scattered. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet see, come on, it's too many scriptures to substantiate when we say that. If you're scattered among Scandinavians, what are you going to look like 4 or 5 generations later? If you're scattered among Indians, what are you going to look like 4 or 5 generations later? It's really simple, man. I have scattered them among the countries, yet I will be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. So that little sanctuary, there's always going to be that remnant. All right. It's like Elder Yashuam, you know, one of the names of his channels is the remnant saved. Because it's all about the remnant, not the whole of Israel, because 2/3, the biggest portion of Israel is going to die on this side. It's part of their punishment. That is their salvation. Their salvation is to get that death by pain, the blood sacrifice they have to pay for their sins because they don't have the covering of Yahushua. Especially those that call on another name. Okay? The chariots are not coming to save them, but to destroy them. All right? The Lord is sending forth that curse over the whole compass of the earth. This is Revelation 14:15, and it reads, and another angel came out of the temple crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud. The cloud is what? A chariot. Thrust in the sickle and reap. Cut them down, man. It's about to go down. For the time has come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And the Lord been holding back these angels. They're coming to bring that destruction. The Lord tells you that he's coming not to bring, he's coming not to he's coming to bring basically destruction. Matter of fact, let me get that, what I'm trying to say. I think that's Matthew 10:24. No, 10:34. Think not that I've come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword, man. All right? The Lord is bringing a sword. He's not sending peace. He's sending destruction, punishing the people, man. Especially Esau, Edom. Especially Esau, Edom. The self-proclaimed white man. All right? So if you're pale in complexion, you just better hope, all right, that you're one of these. Psalms 44:11. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat and hast scattered us among the heathen. You better hope that you're one of those scattered among the heathen that have the appearance of the heathen. And then you better hope that you're among the elect, because you could be a Israelite scattered among the heathen that looks like a heathen. That still doesn't mean you're of the elect, though. All right? You know, you have to still die that death by pain. That is your sacrifice. That is your salvation. Your painful, horrific punishment and death. Then you get to be blessed on the other side, because all Israel will be saved. The 2/3 will be saved. They have to die that death by pain first. You know, Esau, Edom loves to bury and destroy the evidence. You know, you look what they do now with the court systems. Look, you know, because I was going to actually call this lesson, the original name of this lesson was going to be the Apocrypha and Epstein. All right? Because the Apocrypha is evidence of everything of the doctrine of Yahushua. The link between the Israelite foreigners that are scattered, and you know, and how the Israelite foreigners how they became Gentiles or called Gentiles, and that's the mystery to there's no difference between the Jew and the Greek, because those are the Hellenistic or the Hellenized Israelites, not the actual Edomites or the actual Truthfully, the Japhetic, the other melanated people who were the real Greeks. You got to remember, Esau, Edom stole their heritage. All right, Alexander conquered them and kept their heritage. Same way that they conquered America, now they're Americans. They conquered Australia, now they're Australians. They conquered South Africa, now they're South Africans. You see they conquered Eurasia, now they're Europeans. That's what they do. All right, but the Lord is going to send. It's going to be the last scripture, and this is one of my favorites, referring to the chariots, because this is the time that we're at. Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. This is what that woman saw. This is what their telescopes are seeing. This is what they're reporting on. This is what had their soldiers horrified, because they realized that they have no power against them. These things were faster than their missiles, faster than their jets, faster than their bullets. All right. And then when they did hit one with a missile, it did absolutely nothing to it. All right. And that's because it allowed them to hit it, just to show forth this power. Zechariah 5:2. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the whole face of the earth. For everyone that stealeth, and they stole us and was still in their possession. What does the Bible say about that? If a man stealeth a man and he be found in his hands, that man shall surely be put to death. We're still forced to be here in the Americas. We can't leave, subject to payments and we can't leave without paperwork, which some of us can't even get. The majority of us. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. And I will bring it forth, saith the Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, Esau, Edom. He's a still of heritage, lands, and people, resources, all of that. And in every place that they live, they're living on stolen land. Every Edomite that lives on his farm, on his 100 acres, on his 50 acres, and his multi-million-dollar homes, is all on stolen land. All right. It says, into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, saying that they're the people of the Lord, and using the wrong name, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. All right. So the Lord is coming to completely wipe out the power structure of Esau, Edom, all his military. And he's also going to raise up that standard among his Israelites so that they can also take part in this. Ezekiel 25:12-14. Thus saith the Lord power, because Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. There thus saith the Lord, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord power. Esau, Edom has always feared retaliation from Jacob for the wickedness and the crimes that they know they have done. And that is going to happen in the most brutal fashion. So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Babal.